Everett remix. What is
Hello,
good,
hello, hello. Good morning,
everybody?
everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right.
I'm
So
back, baby. I'm
you're
back.
back. I thought you became a Floridian by now. Yeah,
You
you're
know,
back.
I was well on my way. If I would have stayed any longer, I probably would have converted.
Okay. All right. You have a nice tan. I saw you yesterday. You look refreshed, which is
Yeah,
great. Yeah. Yeah. I can't.
I
I'm taking a couple of weeks in August. What about you, Israel? What are you doing?
I have a couple of weeks as well in August, but late August
Okay.
till September. So I'll be heading to Florida myself. So,
All right. All right. All right.
what part of
Okay.
Florida?
it's a family trip with going to Orlando. So, Kissimmee area,
Very
Disney
nice.
World, all that good
Very,
stuff.
very nice. That's good. Back in the sunshine. Yes, I'm going to France. I'm going into my little house in the south of France. Can't wait.
Is it a little
Yeah.
house in the prairie?
In the hills, yes. Kinda. Yeah,
kinda works.
kinda, yeah. Yeah. All right. What do we got today? Oh yeah. So we're going to talk about 9 deal killing habits agents need to lose basically now, or stuff that is like from agent to agents could be hurting you, or stuff that are really not cool and or waste of time and just not productive enough, right? I mean, it's just shows some habits that just shows you're not on top of your game, or you lost your mojo. I don't know, one of those, right? One
Well, I
of
mean,
those.
area that, or you become complacent, right? So that's also another thing. You
That's
think
a
that
good
it's
one
something,
too.
right? So I mean, think about it. What would be? I know we know what we're going to talk about, but what would be considered like a nine dealing, or at least a couple of dealing habits you guys think of or see out there?
Couple of deal killing
Deal
habits, you said?
killings, like deal in
Yeah.
general, like your career killing habits, right? You know what? One that we haven't discussed in those slides, lateness.
Attorneys. Oh,
No, agents that are consistently late. Late with the other agents, late with buyers, late for even fun stuff. The lateness, like all the time. Like if you can't get your shit together, this is
I
to me,
think
it's like this is the worst thing. We're not even
Right.
I
going to
think
discuss
there
that today. And
I
attorneys,
think there's a lot
no,
of
I love attorneys.
realtors.
I
I think
love
there's
the
a lot of
attorneys I work
realtors.
with. Huh? Other realtors in
I think
general.
there's a lot of realtors that treat real estate like a fashion show. So they show up fashionably late.
Oh, that's
Okay.
nice.
But I'm
That's
bummed.
nice.
But
One that is
I'm bummed.
not,
Sure.
you know what? One that is not also on the list because we have so many. Something that is really like a career killing is how you're going to treat your counterparts. How you're going to treat other agents. You know, when you receive a phone call and the agent, no matter what, is rude as hell. You know, I had some phone calls on the 4th of July. I mean, wasn't that a holiday? Weren't we all at barbecues and doing the fireworks and all that? Dude calls me
I
and he
was
goes,
hitting
"Hello."
everybody with the sorry, I can't talk right now.
I mean, the guy blows my phone up, and so I pick up and I'm like, "Okay, yes, may I help you? Is it like an urgency? Is this like really something like?"
Right.
And he goes, "Sir," and I'm like, um, "Well, my name is Gigi. I'm a girl."
Right.
He goes, "Whatever your name is." I'm like, oh, "You go."
Oh wow.
Here we go. Here we go. And he starts talking, and I, of course, I'm in the barbecue. It's loud. I'm like, "Sir, I absolutely do not understand one word. I can't. Let me try to move. If you could repeat slowly, you know." And I'm not saying I was drunk, but you know, it's hot beer, and
It's a hot
and
beer.
A
hot
hot beer.
outside, couple of beers. You know, I mean, you're like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, I'm trying to understand. I have an accent. He has an accent, and I'm like, "Sir, I'm like, whatever your name is, what are you, the assistant? And he keeps on like disrespecting me. I'm like to the core, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, you're gonna have to stop. This is really like disrespectful. May I help you? Let's go straight to the point. And he goes, is this listing available? And I want to choke him to death right there. And he goes, how do I show? And I'm like, read the MLS. And he's so rude. And I want to really kill him.
Yeah.
I
know. And I keep on telling the guy, I'm a girl. And I'm like, I'm a girl. I don't even sound like a man. And he doesn't get
that's
it.
Rude.
Yeah, and he keeps on going, sir, whatever your name is. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Maybe he was trying to read a script.
He was, no. He blew my phone. He called me 7 times in a row to ask me if a listing was available.
I had some, when you ever get somebody that gives you a call and then they like swear to God they want to buy the net like today, right now, this instant. If I could write a check, I'll write it right now. Well, I had one of those, but it was an actual potential tenant. And she reached out to me a few months back, went MIA, and literally she starts blowing up my phone on 4th of July. And I'm just like,
yeah.
She let me I just kept hitting her with, sorry, I can't talk right now. It's like, you swore to you were gun-ho 6 months ago and you went MIA, and now you're hitting me up on the 4th of July. Like, you want to look at this property right now? Not happening.
Yeah, it's it's funny because I mean it's those thoughts of, if I'm not working, everybody else should be working. So it's crazy.
Yeah, that's normally what happens. But it was just funny.
It's right.
Sounds like Gigi
so true. You were gonna say, Gigi?
Nothing. Just wanted to see if anybody was joining us this morning. Hello,
sure
the couple of people. Yes, couple of people who decided to join us this morning. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, the good thing that we're talking about this is because I've actually ran into several agents where, especially the first one we're about to talk about is when they start only relying on certain things, not using all the avenues of communications, right? So, newer agents, the ones that are afraid of the phones, the ones that are just not really, don't like the way they sound on the phone, the way that don't have the certainty or the confidence behind the phone, and they use text or they use Slido,
no,
or email.
I'm just gonna say, your generation, the millennials, please pick up the phone. Because even my children are telling me, Mom, text me. I'm like, oh my gosh. Right. I need to talk to somebody, please. Yeah, I mean, in business, yes. So you can't, especially when dealing with the consumer, when dealing with the buyer or seller, I think the phone contact, the interaction is very, very important. You can confirm things in writing by emails or by text, but I think the initial phone conversation is a lot of the time will basically, it's going to avoid you some miscommunication. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think miscommunication, once it's written, I mean, again, we all know that once you write in capitals, it's like you're yelling. But then, the emotions of what you're saying or what you want to say sometimes can't be written out,
the tone, the emotion.
Or your typos, right? Or your typos are there. You write the wrong word. You shouldn't have written out that word. What you really wanted to say. I mean, there's a lot that follows. But I always say that once you're on the phone call, you get more information through a phone call than you do with an email or a text.
And you're working on that bonding. I mean, like, how can you establish a bond if there is no warmth, no nothing, no, if you cannot even relate to the person, right?
And what were you going to say?
So you wanted me to speak as soon as my air conditioner kicked on. I have it on like energy saving.
Okay, but you know what?
I don't know.
That's all right.
No, it's fine. I'll speak.
Okay.
I just don't know if you can or can't hear it.
Let's tell the audience. I think I know why you put the AC, because you don't like the little baby birds that are nesting in there, right? That's
Yo,
what it
leave those
is.
little baby birds alone. They're my new pets. No, but listen, what I was gonna say is I'm like this for me is kind of like a, I guess, like a two-way street. I'm gonna say, um, it's like a yes and no. I enjoy the texting because it gives me the ability to think over what I'm gonna say next. So if I have to say something in text, then yeah, you know what, I could say something where I'm trying to get a point across, or if I'm trying to get confirmation, or if I'm trying to get a clear understanding. You know what I mean? At the end of the
Right.
day, I still did sales from, like, back in the 2000s, early 2000s, and then now. So I am still used to the phone call conversation, and you're right. I prefer to have that call on the phone only because I can gauge the person. I can see who I'm dealing with, what the personality is of that individual that I'm dealing with.
Mhm.
We had a there's a listing that we had with George, where the seller was super deep personality. I mean, we were literally gonna tell him about the buyer, and he's like, "Hold on a second," and I'm like, "What happened?" He said, "Did they make an offer?" And I'm like, "Okay, I guess we'll just
Yeah,
fast forward
straight to the
this
point.
one."
Yeah,
So yeah, in a phone call, you can gauge that. Here
yeah.
I thought I was going to be on a 10-minute conversation with the seller about this potential buyer, and it turned into a 10-second conversation where it's like, yes, they made an offer. What was their offer? This was the number. This was the deal.
Are they
Okay, great. Let me
qualified?
talk
Yes,
it over
good.
with
Okay, yeah.
everybody else. That's all. So in a text message, you definitely, I feel like maybe you could gauge it in a text message. If somebody responds to you and just says okay after you sent a pretty long message, then I think they might be more direct.
Well,
All
maybe
right.
not. Yeah, maybe not. You could gauge it, but and that's again, it all depends on the word answers and everything else like that. And I agree. The thing is, with this particular, at least this one right here, this slide in particular, something that runs into my idea is the secret agent. You're trying to be that sort of secret agent as well. Like, you don't want to talk. It's nothing wrong with talking to people. You talk to everyone every
Yeah.
day. So you shouldn't feel afraid of what you have to say. You just have to build on your confidence on what you want to say. So that's all you really have to do. And that's for those that don't like scripts, the more you do this, the more you're going to build your confidence. Anyways. So that's
Yes.
really a
Can we
good
move on
takeaway.
to the next one?
Of course, yes.
La otra slide. How do you say slide in Spanish?
I don't know. How do you say slide
Uh,
in Spanish?
all right. That's it. Next one. All right. That's another one that's actually going to be a waste of time for you, or just a waste of money and a lot of things. Is not handing off leads you don't have time for to another agent on your team or otherwise. I feel like you cannot be
Actually,
too greedy. Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you don't have times for some leads, or they're not within your market, or they're not within your realm of professionalism, let's say you've never done commercial, hand it off. Earn that little referral fee. Why not? Don't keep it. Don't stack
Well,
up stuff.
I don't know about that one, about handing it off. It's just in the format of the commercial. So if you're interested in being part of that world, then instead of handing it off, then just partner up with somebody that knows, right? If you don't have the time for that person that you're going to work with, honestly, think about it. How much time do you have in the day? Are you actually not able to show? Are you not able to do things? Then yes, hand that off. Should give
No,
someone
yeah,
else the
partner
opportunity
up.
to
You're
do it.
right. Partner up is a good thing
But
if you can afford it, if you can afford the time, right?
right, but even if you can't afford time and you want to, because again, we want to learn. You're all residential. Also, you want to learn commercial. Partner up with someone that knows. This way, you don't
Right.
have to worry about next time. Having to partner up with someone else. So
But I think that slide was designed in a sense like you're gonna have leads, people actually contacted you, and it's gonna be to your detriment if you're not able to tend to that lead. If somebody has a
Of
request for a showing
course.
or whatever, it's going to look really bad on your part. It's not going to look professional. So if you're super busy, hand it off, get a referral fee. If you want to jump, or if it's not within your realm, partner up with somebody and try to work it as best as you can. Even if you're not going to be the one doing the showing, if you can manage the lead or whatever you figure out, but don't let the lead unattended. I'm
Right.
guilty of this one too. There are so many leads. I'm like, okay, and whenever I can, thank God we have a team. I just hand them off, or I put them back in a pond of leads, and that's about that. But otherwise, it just gives you that. It just shows that you don't care. It's like, and then having buyers out there saying, "Oh, I called this agent, she never called me back. I tried again, she's never heard from her." It's not a good. To me, it's not a good look.
One thing I
Yeah.
would probably just add to this is that, the question at the end of the day becomes how much work is too much. You know what I mean? And one thing I've always heard Vincent in the office say was, hey, look, like try to get yourself working with 10 clients and customers, you know what I mean? A mixture of buyers and sellers. Like once you're at that point, if you get leads that are coming in, then you should hand them off to somebody else because you feel that maybe 10 is too much. If you feel that 10 is not enough, then bump it up. Hey, I work with 10 people. You know what? I could work with 15 comfortably. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, you'll cover more ground and you'll make more money if you actually do start to develop that team, somebody you can hand these leads off to that would be in good hands, that would be treated the way you would treat those customers or clients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but definitely, I have not handed off leads because I feel like I can handle a lot of them. But, as time progresses, that's something to look into.
I have. I've had them out.
Yeah, I hand them out
I've
too.
handed leads out
Yeah.
there in other places. Like if it's a lead in the Bronx, I'm not going to the Bronx.
Okay.
So I'll
Right.
hand it off. But
Yeah.
as far as like the business goes, yeah, try to set a number. Set a number, and once you hit it, see if you can handle more. If you can, great. If not, start handing those leads to somebody you know
Right.
and you can trust.
Right. And don't leave those leads unattended, unanswered, uncared for. Niche good. Next one is, oh, I like this one too. So calling clients, listing agents, and vendors for literally every little thing. Like those agents that don't even look at the MLS listing and call you. It's like, what are the
Mm.
taxes? Oh, how many bedroom is this? And I'm like, 10 minutes later, they're calling you again. Oh, okay. Yeah. What's a crossroad? Yes. I've seen those. This is like really, really annoying. It's probably a waste of time for that agent to just pick up the phone to ask questions instead of doing a little bit of research, and be able to deliver it to his customer and client in the right fashion and say, oh, let me get back to you. That's not the way. Not the way at all. What do you think of that, Israel?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, goes to any agent, whether it's new or seasoned.
Right.
Sometimes I
And
feel
those
like the ones that are seasoned, for those that have been in the business for a very long time, whether they're computer savvy or not, I mean, I think that's their approach to try to get as much information from you, or try to be
but you know
friendly
what?
with you. And
That's
then,
when you do text.
right, but again, as I said, they're not computer savvy, right? So if they don't know how to use computers, they don't even know how to use text. So the point is that we do run into a lot of these agents that do that. And I agree. It's like I try to put in as much information on the MLS so they can read it and figure it out and go from there.
And they
So that
still
they're
don't.
not, and they still don't. That's fine. And I just keep saying refer back to to the MLS if possible. Or if you can, I am a little busy right now. Collect all your questions and call me later, and we'll go from there. And I've
Yeah.
done that to just a couple agents. So Just collect all your questions, and I'll be able to answer all of them later.
Yeah. I get some buyer's agents, like let's say you're like those guys that call you for everything, and then once you go into contract, they call you every day for an update, and it's like, oof, okay, dude, it's pretty much in my hands as much as in yours.
Well, you know what I find funny
every day.
what I find funny about those type of agents, and I run into those as well, is that they'll call you every day, right? Every day for every information, every day to try to get the contract in, every day for everything, right? But the moment you call them for an update, they're never found.
Right.
They never are found. It's like, hello, I just called you, man. What the hell?
Or when you need them to,
right.
When you need them to go to the appraisal, they're like, they can't do it.
Right. They disappear all of a sudden. It's like, what? Do your job. Your job wasn't to call me every day. Your job was to actually do this job that you're doing now. So,
I know. It's amazing.
Ed, it looked like you were about to say something.
No, I'm just having recaps and memory flashes.
Flashbacks. He's traumatized.
With an agent. Yeah, a couple deals ago, man, she was. Anywho, new story.
Totally traumatized.
You know what? Honestly, you know what? It's this portion right here. We're gonna move on real quick, but this portion right here reminds me of one time with Ed. I'm just gonna bring this back to you. Is when you called the management company way too many times.
Oh,
and they actually had to reach out to our broker.
They reached out to Vincent.
Did that happen to you?
Me. That happened to me. I was calling management for every little thing. Not even. I wasn't even calling them. I was emailing. I was like, hey, I got a quick question. One more question. Last question. I forgot to ask this question.
That's exactly what happened.
Please stop.
Like, it was an email. I wasn't calling.
That was a rookie mistake. Now you know better. Yeah.
Some of these people need to understand that this will happen. All right, it's okay. Just that's their job. Okay. All right.
Until it happens to you, and now you're like, wait a minute.
Their job is to manage.
To you, you're like, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Oh wow.
Well, I'm not managed. Well, I mean, yeah, I am, but it's all good.
What's the next
we live and we learn. We live and we learn.
Here is a bad look. Have you ever met? I'm sure you have. We all have. We won't name names.
Yes.
No names.
Is there a buzzer? Can I hit a buzzer? Yes.
That is complaining. Walks in the
you want
office.
Me to say their names?
No. Complaining to your coworkers all the time. Like nothing is ever. Like it's so to that agent, everything is gloomy. You know, they turn on the computer, they're listening to their voicemail. Is there somebody brushed them the wrong way? This buyer that, the seller that, the attorney this, and the broker. Oh, forget about it. And the printing machine, the printer. Oh, the printer is horrible. I know. I've had. This is really a bad.
I just want to make this call. I'm like this. This is me. Yeah. Can I just make this call, please? I just gotta call the seller right now.
Yeah. And,
oh my god! I found my earpods.
Or the agent that just barges in when you're actually on the phone with the seller, and they do that systematically. Especially when I was managing our branch office, if you guys remember. I have a question, and I'm like, just barging in. I have a question. Help me now.
I used to pick up my head from the side like,
Right.
I know where this question's leading to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's always those water cooler people that actually complain about everything. So, yeah, I agree. I see. I've heard them.
I know. So don't be one of those. If you're looking
at this slide, and asking yourself, hey, do I ever do this? Chances are you might be that person.
If you were complaining about something today, you were that person.
So the next slide is basically subject of contention for me. because I'll go and so trying to convince buyers to put an offer without a buyer's agent. As a listing
Guilty.
agent,
I'm guilty.
yeah, I got some buyers coming through directly. I'm still gonna. It's not gonna be about dual agency because it's clearly disclosed that I'm representing the seller. But if they wish to put
Correct.
an offer without a buyer's agent, it's perfectly fine with me. It's
I
not
will be
going
more
to
than
change
happy
a
to
thing,
help.
huh? Yeah, trying to convince hard. If they're stating they have an agent, no, I won't do that. If they're disclosing they have an agent up front, no, I'll help them. I'll facilitate as much as I can, but I won't try to convince. Right? Especially at
Right.
open house. What's your take
Yeah.
on that, Doc? Yeah.
When it comes to open houses, or I mean, I think that's a perfect example in the open houses. So, pretty much we're there to either find our buyers for that house or just find buyers to work with, right? So,
Right.
at the end of the day, like if those agents, I mean, those buyers come in even without their agents or anything else like that, and they see that I'm actually more informative, more easy to work with, so on and so forth. Yeah, go ahead. You're more than welcome to work with me. More than welcome to
Right.
work with me.
Working
But if
with
you
you,
don't
but
want to,
as far as
I mean,
agency representation, you don't do dual agencies, do you?
no, I haven't done. I only done 3 tool agents in my whole career.
Yeah, in your whole career. That's what I'm saying. So it's
Yeah.
extremely rare. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
What about you, Ed?
Well, I haven't done any dual agencies at all. But
Yeah.
if someone did come, like Israel said, to the open house and, did ask me, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry to say it, but the truth of the matter is, just like everyone else, you're always looking to try to make the deal as seamless as
Of
possible.
course.
And sometimes there are some agents that we work with that are great and some that are not so great. So,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
when it comes down to that, I feel like a lot of buyers kind of already know. And they're like, oh, you're the listing agent? It's like, yes, I am. It's like, oh, if I put a deal with you, like we don't have to worry about another agent. And I'm just like, well, I mean, if that's how you want to take this, just know that I'm representing the seller, but that's fine. You know what I mean? If you
Right.
don't want to get another agent, you don't have to. You could
Yeah.
do what you want.
And a lot of the times, those buyers don't understand it won't change the dynamic and the structure of your commission. It means you're going to
Yeah.
double end the deal. It's probably more money for you. And, I mean, I would stay away from the dual agency because I'll open up cans of worms. And it's great if it happens, but I would say 97% of the time, I very rarely I'm going to double end deals, in this market. I don't know
Well,
what the new market is going to be like, but in that past market over the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, mainly buyers came with representation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
plus, if you're in a team, and you're a listing agent only per se, then you always have somebody who you can actually have that
Yeah.
person work with the buyer. You can just work that way. So.
well, I have a question. Ding ding, pop quiz. So, in a dual agency, okay, if you are performing a dual agency, almost sounds like surgery, brain surgery. Anywho, if you're performing a dual agency, what fiduciary duty do we not abide
Loyalty.
by?
Loyalty.
That you see, yeah.
Yeah, is
Loyalty
it
is the only
loyalty?
thing. Yeah,
Loyalty
that's the
from
only
both
thing.
on either party, which sucks because if you started with the representing the seller and you had the duty, with the basically the guidelines from NAR, the code of ethics, if you started with representing that seller and had duty of loyalty, and all of a sudden you have a buyer which you're going to have to be loyal to as well, that's where it gets very dicey. And that's why I don't want
Yeah.
to dip in that pond either. You
Mm.
know, I
I
really
mean,
don't
of
want
course,
to.
it happens. But loyalty is really the only one because honestly, when you break down the old car, right, the entire thing, obviously you still have to keep confidence between the two buyers and sellers. You still have to keep the obedience between the two, the accountability. So loyalty is really the only one that he's like, I just can't be loyal to you. I have to be, I have to divide myself to both of you to in order to get this thing done. So
Yeah, yeah.
So here's my last question to that. So if you are the dual agent and you are
Mhm.
now keeping, like, like you said, two personas at this point, you're representing the buyer and you're giving them their loyalty, and you're representing the seller and giving them their loyalty. Do you then negotiate the offer with yourself in front of a mirror? Next slide. Next slide.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, let me tell you
Yeah.
this. This buyer is more than qualified. What's his debt to income ratio? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's under
That was funny.
28%.
All right. One that is not a good look is, and I would have to admit, and probably all of you know, I would smoke occasionally outside the job. Okay. I like to have a cigar. I like to bomb a cigarettes from people once in a while on social occasions. But I think when you have that agent that reeks of smoke, like his suit smells, his fingers smell when you just shake their hands. That's a nasty look, and I think buyers know that too, unless they're heavy smokers themselves and they don't care. But I think for the majority of the population, nah.
I
No,
think you just
even
said it right there. The fact that the majority of the population, because it's all, again, it's stereotype. It's pretty much to that point.
Yeah,
If you're
you-
in the environment that it always smokes, like if you're dealing with a person that's a smoker, cigar smoker, or a person that cigarette smoker, yeah, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that. So I don't. I honestly, to a scale of 1 to 10, this is like a 6 to me. In the sense that it doesn't really bother
isn't
me
that a
as much.
turn
I can
off
see
for
how it
you
is.
when you're dealing with a buyer's agent and he comes or she comes reeking of smoke,
At the end of the day,
sounding
does the
like
buyer
Margie Simpson's
is the
sister?
buyer
Yeah.
does the buyer have the three things? Are they ready, willing, and able?
Yes.
That was okay. But are they
Yeah.
ready, willing, and able? At the end of the day, that's all I really care.
Very good. Very good. And
well,
this doesn't phase you. Okay.
I'm gonna take the smoking to what it can kill. It will kill. Do you guys watch that sword show by any chance? No.
What's
Yes,
the
yes,
show?
Iron.
yes, yes.
It will kill. So one
Don't know.
smoking habit that will kill the deal is I had a listing where the seller would smoke, and he would smoke in his apartment, and it's like we would have showings, and it's like we would walk in and the apartment would reek of smoke, and it's just like,
Yep.
look, I
Yep.
get it, I respect it. If you smoke, you smoke. But if you're selling your place, please have the common courtesy to step outside and smoke that thing outside, only because if somebody's going to come in to look at the place, like you said, what if it's someone who doesn't like smoke at all? Now
Right.
the
Let's go.
apartment reeks of smoke,
So
and it was set up nicely. Let's say if it was renovated or something like that, right there, in my opinion, will kill the deal. It will kill.
Yeah. We were talking about
just a,
agents.
I
Yeah.
know. I just
yeah.
wanted to throw it out there.
But just to
Yeah.
pivot on that, and I like the fact that you brought that up. So I mean, yes, with agents nowadays in today's market, it's really about e-cigarettes and all the other vapors, whatever. That's what they're using, right? But to pivot on the fact that with the seller being a smoker, and smoking up the entire place, there's only been two. I haven't had the deals that didn't get approved, but there was only one or two deals where, in the sense that the seller was actually giving the buyer a sort of a cleaning bill, in the sense of, here's a credit for a cleaning bill for my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I didn't get the deal, but I thought that was very interesting. And I'm like, the next smoker listing agent, listing I'm going to get, I'm going to try that. Because I thought that was a great idea.
That is a nice idea.
I don't know. I just think it's a matter of, it just goes with hygiene. I just don't think it looks cool on a professional level
I mean,
when
look,
you're going to reek of cigarette and speak to the public.
If that is the case, my recommendation is you
Chew a
should wear
nicotine gum.
gloves and you should wear a mask at that point, because you should just
No.
not you. I'm saying the person who smokes. Like, listen,
Right.
As an
If-
agent, if you're addicted to, and I'm going to use the word addicted, it's an addiction. If you have to smoke like all the time, if you have to have certain, if you smoke a pack a day, why don't you switch to a nicotine patch when you're going to appointments, or nicotine chew,
true.
anything? I mean, is that
Yeah. Well, to conclude this one, honestly, I've met in our office, we had a lot of people that actually smoked, at a certain point. And I recently saw them as of a couple of months back, these same individuals who have quit for over 4 years or more. And they actually look much better. So, yeah, I think that's, for those that like to smoke, just stop, and or at least try to quit.
Listen,
no.
you
I
guys
don't
talking about all of this smoking stuff. Look, we losing viewers over here. All right, people are tuning out because you want these people to stop smoking.
It's all right. It's all right.
Let's
get to the next one then. If that's
yeah, and the other one that is not cool as far as professionally, not getting enough sleep. Like, I am always sometimes, especially the agents that are struggling with their time management. I think that's one thing that could definitely kill your day, or if it's something that happens way too much, kill your career. Because I think like not having enough sleep makes you really less efficient during the day. We all had those days where, like whatever happened, coffee too late or anything, or too much on your mind, and you end up having like 1 hour and a half of sleep. And then the next day, it's like you're just a zombie walking into the office and trying to go through that day. It happened very few times for me, but I know it's not a great look. And I don't even think it's great for the clients, for them to witness that, for you not to be 100%.
I don't know why funny stories keep popping in my head, but
go ahead. One funny story. One.
No. It's at the end of the day, as much as we believe that we can function off of God knows how much sleep, at the end of the day, it shows. All right, it shows. People will know. Yeah, people will know. People will see it. Whether you believe it or not, you'll be more groggy. You'll be more intense. You'll have more anxiety. Right? Go ahead, Gigi.
Israel, you know it. You also do. I mean, you do a few trainings with us, Ed. But Israel and I, we probably host a lot of trainings, right? You know who doesn't get enough sleep because they're sleeping during your training. You're trying to move, make it entertaining, and
as much as I try to become that teacher, be like wake up. Yeah, I've been there.
You should bring me to some of these trainings. I'll try to.
We've been there 2 weeks ago.
And I find those funny. I mean, honestly, it's like those that are, sleeping in that one corner. I'm like, oh man, things that are hard night.
There's certain designated corners in that basement where you already know if somebody sits there. It's like, oh, all right.
Well, I agree.
I always try to put myself in the front, but even then, there was a time where I was just like trying so hard. I was just trying to keep my eyes open.
I'm gonna read an excerpt of this article. It says that a study from the UK determined that you essentially use 1 IQ point for every hour you miss below 8 hours a night. Worse.
Below 8? I feel like I don't even need 8 though.
No, whatever. I mean, but how much you need? I sleep about 7 hours a night, and I wake up about by myself. I don't really do 8.
Yeah, I don't do 8. I'm more of like that. I'm more of like that 6, 7 right now.
Yeah. But it's, I guess when you're 20, you need 8, and then when you get older.
Thank you for the compliment. I'm not in my 20s, but okay, I'll accept it.
But so if let's give an example. So if you have an IQ of 115, which I think is the average, and sadly the average, and you miss 2 hours of sleep every night, if you're gonna stack up all those hours of lack of sleep, you're gonna lose like 10-point IQ every week.
So what
I'm
you,
sorry.
Okay.
so what you're so what you're saying is there a way to recuperate these IQ points? Really?
More sleep, I guess. More sleep. I mean, there's no
Oh
way.
man. I am not in a good position right now.
Yeah.
When you
I'm
said
sorry.
115 is the average, I was already I didn't even know it went up that high.
You already lost 2 points.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
Oh
going
my
to sleep right
god,
now.
this is insane, and I think this is
Yeah.
all right. So this was part of that slide was making loud business calls in your local coffee shop, making
Oh, I love
loud
those.
business calls in your office.
Oh, office is okay. I don't care.
What happened
But
to my photo on
coffee
this
shops, I
one?
love.
The
Not sure,
photo.
but
Oh, it's
I
not this guy.
love.
I'm losing the photo on this one. What happened? It's fine.
I
It's all right.
love this one.
Words are louder than the
The reason why I
image.
love this one is because honestly, and I don't know how you guys feel about this one, but I love this one because it's a two-way road when you think about it, right? One, you get to know who the agent is, right? There's a bunch of strangers there. You don't know who's an agent, who's not, who's an agent. Whether they're wearing their billboard, that's when you know. Whether they're wearing a shirt or they're wearing a CTA shirt, a call to action shirt. That's the only way you'll know that they're an agent. But when they start conversing agent language, you're like, "Ooh, let's talk." Like let me have this specific conversation with them. Then, if it's the other way around, let's just say you're the one with the loud mouth, you're the one with the loud conversation. Hopefully, you're not saying something that's detrimental per se or confidential. But at the same time, you're talking business. It's that other people around you are doing exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
As far as wow, that's an agent. Let me talk
Yeah.
business then. So I actually, I see where they were going with this one, but at the same time, I kind of like it because it's like, it's a great way to network with someone.
It's crazy that there was actually there was actually a I was standing outside and I saw these two guys walking up and down the street hitting every door. They were door knocking. I think they were leaving flyers or door hangers, whatever. But as they're doing it, I hear them in conversation, like they're in the middle of a conversation doing it. And the reason why I caught on to it was because they both had mentioned the same name almost at the same exact time.
Another agent?
No, they weren't agents. I don't know what they were part of. They could have been like these people that door knock and they're selling in the neighborhoods
the
of
internet
houses.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, the internet thing or solar panels or windows or all that stuff. So I don't know what kind of company it was. They mentioned not our name. They mentioned each other's, like they mentioned the same name. Like it's almost like if I'm on a call with Gigi, for example, and Israel and I are door knocking, it's like both Israel and I were like, yeah, Gigi, no, that's fine. Look, if you just look, I'll tell you right now, with $10,000, you'll get in, no problem, and we'll make it happen for you. Like that's how the conversation went. And I'm standing out there like, what the hell? Like one kid passes by and he says the name, and then I see the other kid across the street. He's coming away from the house saying the same exact name. I'm like, what are the odds that these guys are on the same exact call right now? And then I realized that right there, not for nothing, is a marketing strategy because you're going to pique the interest of those who actually are interested in what you're selling. You know what I mean? So like Israel said, if you're in a cafe making a loud call and you're there having a conversation, chances are somebody in that cafe is going to be like, oh, snap. Like I was talking about an agent and look, there's some guy here. He looks pretty, he looks pretty cool. He looks pretty, well dressed, well set up, professional, whatever. He speaks professional, whatever the case is. Maybe I should go talk to him and then or her, you know what I mean? So yeah, in some cases it's good. In the office, you should control your tone, all right? Because there's other people that are sitting next to you making a call also. So you don't want it to be like, hey, Jim, you're on a call, and then somebody else in the background, no, come on, we got to make this deal happen. What is it going to take? And it's like, yo, dude, control yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that slide is double-edged because I feel like let's have a little bit of class. It's, I like the call to action shirt and all this and that, but you don't have to be on the phone obnoxious, basically showing off that you're making a deal.
With your jacket open on the phone and your shirt says
And he's
Talking
like,
about real
"Get me
estate.
that coffee." And,
Right,
he keeps on going. And I'm like, I tend to be very loud. I'm aware of it. It's a flaw, but it's like when I see that and it's obnoxious, and I'm like, shit. I hope I'm not like this. I make a
right.
point if I'm going. Let's say you're never gonna see me at Martha's. Now I'm not gonna go and sit down at Martha for cake because I'm fat. But in those days, like it was a hangout for agents pre-COVID,
Yeah,
right? And
All of
That's
those spots were.
yeah, exactly.
you know who the real estate agents were because you could hear them, and I'm like, oh my god, like even if you're sitting down with a customer and they're like, can they be any louder? I'm like, oh, okay, that's the reputation you will have, so let's keep it
Yeah.
classy.
Well, and the
That's
good thing
it.
you just said, it double edged. I mean, imagine being in a cafe that's as quiet as a library, and having someone as loud. I mean, we know numerous of people like that, but having someone like that going in there and just talk loud business, it's not. Yeah, I agree. Be as professional as you can over it, and
Yep.
don't think that because once you're doing it, I'm gonna be minding my own business. No, you're talking shop, and if it's good enough, I'm gonna hear it. So
I
And if you,
think
better yet,
we can go to the next slide.
yeah, of
yes,
course. Let's go to the
So
last one.
this one also probably subject to contention. Dressing for the job you have instead of the job you want, especially when you're in real estate, right?
That's a double edged
Especially
one
if you're a
too.
newbie, right? You don't
I
have.
think
Yeah,
That's
go
I
a
ahead.
think
double
Go
edged
like I
ahead.
one.
mentioned in the beginning, real estate or being in the real estate industry or being a realtor is like being in the fashion industry. Everybody tends to have some type of fashion that they are all about and they end up rocking it. I know somebody that can actually wear the same exact outfit this image has on right now and still kill it. You
Yes,
know what
but
I
you know
mean?
what?
I know a couple people like that too.
I think you also
Besides
need
myself. I'm
to.
kidding.
You
Oh,
need
let's
to.
go.
You need to know how to dress for what occasion. Let's say if I'm going to sell on the Upper East Side a multi-million-dollar property and meet the sellers,
Yes.
I'm not gonna wear flip-flops and shorts.
No.
Definitely.
Suit and
No, no,
tie.
no, no.
I'm gonna wear makeup like I'm wearing today. I'm gonna make sure I put on good dress, good shoes. The bags, the nails are done. Like things look posh. Things look
Right.
like put together.
Mm.
I want to look the part. I definitely
It's
want to
funny
look
that
the part.
you
Mm.
say luxury, right? So I started thinking about one thing you just mentioned. I mean, I'm sure we all have seen $1 million listings, right? And there was this one particular agent in New York that was actually always wearing. I mean, he sold millions of dollars of properties, but he's always wearing casual clothes.
I know what you're talking
I'm not
about. I
going to
can't
call out his
remember his
name,
name.
I know
Yes.
his
Uh,
name, but I'm not going to call out his name. But
his
the
name
point
is
is that he's
Edward.
always dun, so he's always wearing it, but you gotta be
No, but you know what? That was
still
a
just can't
hold
be
on. That
wearing
was a
Gap.
calculated hipster look. That was a
Right.
That was extremely calculated. The t-shirts that he would wear were probably several $100s, $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could
Mm-hmm.
see, like
Mm.
it was
Definitely was
a
not me.
no, it was the hair was long, but it was too
My hair was long.
too elaborate of a haircut. And I understand what you're saying, but that's like, first of all, that was for the show. I don't know how much money he does. Second of
Right,
all,
right.
it looks like he was selling apartments of all his ex-girlfriends because the guy was a player.
Okay, well, we don't have to get into the statistics. I mean,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not that's
Oh, yeah, I know what we're talking about now.
In
we don't
general,
have to get into that. But in general,
I
yeah, I
think
agree.
like some past clients, I'm gonna have repeat business, and I sold them a unit. I resold that unit. They bought another one, and then we were selling it. We're at the comfort level where we're friends, and they may not want to see me overdressed because they want to feel that comfortability. They want to feel like
Absolutely.
Like we're gonna sit down, we're gonna chew the fat. So I think you have to gauge on how you're gonna present yourself. But if you're brand new, dress sharp, man. Like that. Like fake it until you make it type of thing is what I would advocate for. Definitely. When you're brand new, like get yourself a couple of good suits. Just like what's this TV show guy? What's
Steve Harvey said it.
Steve Harvey says what? A man should have 5 suits, right?
Black
suit,
suit,
blue suit,
tan suit,
beige. I mean, off-white suit,
burgundy,
brown suit. No,
burgundy.
And gray
purple.
suit.
So it's black, gray, navy
gray,
blue,
brown,
and then beige.
Beige. And then with
2 white t-shirts,
yourself a couple of two white shirts, 2 blue shirts, and 2 off-white shirts, and a pair of blue shoes, a pair of brown shoes, and you're set. Yeah. You can have God knows how many outfits on that. Let's do the math on this.
Listen,
how much was it?
Yes, 75 outfits.
So same thing with women. Get yourself a couple of blazers, black, blue, beige. And if you, as a girl, you can have like one fun color, like brown skirt, gray skirt, and same thing, off-white skirts, a pair of pumps, black, brown, and then go with the blush color. And all this will get you many outfits.
So honestly, but we're going to conclude this pretty soon. But
yes,
there's one famous person that she was famous for always wearing a red dress back in the days. Right, and that's how she did her real estate. She did her real estate wearing just simply always a red dress.
Okay,
right? And she's famous now. She used to have her real estate. She used to have huge brokerage and everything. But you gotta think about it. That part of her history, part of her. That's right. She was.
You're right. Barbara Corcoran loves Yes,
so if you are a new agent and you're not able to, you just don't dress like you're going to the barbecue. Dress like you're visiting somebody for first impressions. Dress as the impression that you're giving for your clients and the people around you. But you don't always have to wear church clothes to go to the showing. Pretty much, just have to be as comfortable as possible, be as business casual as possible, but be as fun as possible.
So I got a question now. Pop quiz time. Bing, bing. Let's go. So Gigi, you said that you would go all decked out to a listing appointment, multi-million-dollar listing appointment in Midtown Manhattan and get the job done.
Uptown.
Okay, Uptown Manhattan and get the job done. My question to you is, what would you wear? What would you wear if it was in South Jamaica and it was $150,000?
I will still wear business clothing. Yes. But it's like you also have to understand like the age group you're dealing with and stuff like that. You want to be relatable. Right, so people have to feel comfortable with you. If I know that person is super bougie, oh yes, I'm just gonna mirror that. That's what it's gonna do. You're gonna have to mirror your clientele,
And if they're super simple, what?
I mean, I still want to dress professional because you want to dress the part, You don't want to look too casual. That's too comfortable. People are going to wonder, what are your motives, And at my age, I don't want to look like I'm just about to go.
So what happened to me, at least 2 listings, this happened to me, and I still sold them no matter what. But what happened to me was at one time I was actually, I was dressed out, got the listing, boom, boom, dressed to the T. And the first showing, I pretty much was casual because I was somewhere else at that time, but somebody needed to see the unit right away. And unfortunately, again, here I'm in my personal casual outfit. And I get my owners looking at me like, give me the up down look, the once over. And like,
was it the same guy? Yeah.
But I still sold it. It's like, don't worry about it. It's just, that was me then. Now this is what you're going to get. So,
yeah.
And
on the last minute things, I would have to say I always give a fair warning. if
Yeah.
sometimes you have sellers where it's a last minute thing and you're going to have an introductory meeting, and I will, if I feel I'm not dressed for the part, I will actually disclose in that phone call, by the way, I'm dressed super casually, today was a day for this
Oh,
and
yeah, I've
that,
done
and
that.
so therefore this is not, I'd rather meet later, so I can change up, but if you really want, then you're gonna have to see me with my sneakers. But that's about that.
Yeah.
But dress for the job, especially if you're brand new, please dress for the job.
You
Dress
should dress for the job every
professional.
day.
It's gonna
Except for when time you're
actually,
in the gym.
yeah, it's gonna show that you have some dedication to your craft, because people will know you're a rookie. At least that's
Oh,
showing
yeah.
that you have some pride in what you're doing. That's already like an echelon above. On
Yeah,
this
I agree.
note, on this
Folks,
note,
we're towards the
top of the hour. Yeah. All right. So I guess that's it, right? Ed, last story,
Yes.
last comment, because you're the one
Last
wrapping up.
comment. I learned something else today, that if you're gonna be out there getting all dressed for the job, the color red was already retired by Barbara
Barbara
Corcoran. So you have other
yeah.
colors to choose from, and you can make that your color dress or suit.
Oh,
Yeah,
no red suit. No, no.
No, red's already
Ed has
taken. So you got,
Ed already has a burgundy jacket. Don't you have a burgundy jacket?
yes,
No,
Ted has
burgundy,
it.
yes.
Ted has
Ted
a
has
burgundy
it.
suit.
So you get so it's a
Ted.
hand me down. Got it. Okay.
Oh, I had to look out for my agent, yo. He was out there all alone, man. He needed some help, so I said, "Here, take this red
I
suit
know.
and make it your
All
own."
right, guys. On this one, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. All right. In the meantime, arrivederci.
Peace out.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye, guys. All right. Thank you.